Newfield artists. I hope you all had a good weekend, and I hope you got to spend some time outside. It's some really nice weather, and I will share a picture with you of a rainbow that I saw on Friday evening. After it rained and the sun came out, there was a big, beautiful rainbow outside that I saw in my backyard. So curious to know if any of you saw it as well. But today we're going to be making a fun Mother's Day card, and it's something that you can, of course, give to an aunt, a cousin, a grandmother, or your mom. I'm going to be sending this to my mom. She is in Florida right now, and it's going to look something like this. So the heart shape is optional, but I thought it would be fun to add that in to show how much you love your mom. And it's kind of fun because when you open it up, I'm just refolding it. When you open it up, you get this nice little surprise pop-up card that is a tulip in there. So I'm going to walk you through this. Okay, so I'm going to start my card by cutting out 2 heart shapes, and I'm going to fold it in half. I know that a heart is symmetrical shape. It's the same on both sides. So I'm taking a piece of paper, folding it in half, and I only need to draw half of my heart here against the folded side I'm working from. So I'm going to just make a nice curve that goes up. I want this to be a pretty big heart, and I'm going to bring it down. So if you were going to just start at the bottom, bring it up with kind of a nice diagonal, come up and curve, and bring it down. And I'm going to do the same thing on this white paper. And I just want to make this one a little bit smaller. So I'm thinking maybe something like that. So now I'm going to cut those out. So here I'm noticing that I want my inside heart to be a little bit smaller because I want to see a little bit more of that orange border behind it. So I'm just going to trim it down a little bit. Alright, so I just put this blue paper underneath as like a little mat so I don't get glue everywhere all over my table. But I'm just going to take my glue stick and I'm going to put it around the edges of my white inside heart. And it's just going to get glued down onto the bigger heart. So now we're ready to get the shape of that tulip. And I'm just taking a piece of scrap paper that I have here because I like to give myself a little stencil so that they're all going to be the same, and also they're all going to be symmetrical. So same thing when we did the heart shapes, we folded the paper first. So I'm doing that again here. It's a little bit smaller, and I'm just going to take my pencil and move this out of the way so we can see a little bit better. And again, along the fold, I'm going to be drawing my tulip shape, but only half of the tulip shape, because once I open it up, I'll have the full tulip shape. So starting from the fold, I'm just going for a nice curve like that. Bring it up a little higher. I could always trim this down. This point of this stencil too is to, once I cut it out, I can kind of make, see if it fits the way I want it to on my heart. So I'm going to come down here, and then I'm just going to go up and stop right at the fold. So I'll make this a little darker. Actually, I'll go back in marker. Choose a thicker one for you. So I went and I did a nice curve, and then diagonal down, diagonal up. So something like this. And then I'm going to cut that out. And once I open it up, I should get a shape like this. So I have this U shape on the bottom, and then along the top, looks like the letter W, just like that. So then from there, let's see if I like the way it looks against my heart. So I'm going to be putting it right about there. I think in the middle you're going to want to leave a little room at the bottom for your stem. So I might actually want to trim this down a little bit. It's looking a little big for my heart. So I'm going to bring this up and then just trim it down. And you can draw it again if you want, or just go ahead and trim it down. And that to me looks a little bit better. So I'm going to choose some paper. And here I have 3 colors that I know my mom likes. I have purple, pink, and yellow. And you want to cut out 6 tulip shapes that look just like this. And this is my stencil. So I'm just going to fold my 3 sheets of paper in half. So now I've doubled the 3 and I have 6 sheets that I'm going to be cutting through, just to make it easier for myself. And I'm going to use my stencil here and I'm going to wrap it around the fold. And I'm going to do it the other way so that it's easier to see because I have yellow on yellow there. Okay, now I have more of a contrast. Hey, look, I have complementary colors, purple and yellow. So now I'm just, check that out again, around the fold here. I have my stencil and I'm wrapping it around the fold. And I'm going to trace, so I'm holding that down and I'm tracing that shape, which is half of the tulip. I don't need that anymore. And now I'm going to be cutting, so it might be a little tough because this is now really 6 sheets I'm cutting through, but just try to keep them together as best you can. Keep your fingers out of the way. And I get that diagonal down, diagonal up. So now, opening. Okay, so now I have 3 full tulips. So when it was folded, it was 6 sheets in half. Now I open it up and I have my 3 tulips. I'm going to need 3 more. So I'm going to repeat that process one more time. Here's my little stencil again. So now I have my 6 tulip shapes cut out, and I'm going to create a little pattern here. So I'm going to do purple, yellow, pink, purple, yellow, pink. So when I go to glue, so here I go with my glue stick, I am just going to fold them. Actually, I'm just going to fold them all now so I know. I have to keep them folded once I'm gluing. I'm going to start with my purple. And I'm just putting some glue around. And I'm going to take the next one, which is the yellow, and I'm going to match it right on top. So folds have to match up. Fold against the fold. Press it down. And then glue on top of that one. So I'm just stacking them all together using my glue. Ooh, that was a lot of glue. And my next one's the pink, so I'm going to go right on top. Again, fold to fold, match them up. Press it down. So now I just want to open it up, you're fanning it out, and you're noticing it's kind of like a pop-up little booklet almost that you've just created. So this is going to be going, and just kind of make sure none of them are really glued together besides the ones that you wanted to be glued together. So kind of separate it open so that it has a little time to dry like that. And this is going to be going right here in the middle of your heart so that when you open it up, you have that nice little pop-up tulip. So first, before that, I'm just going to take, I have here a green strip of paper. So it's a nice narrow rectangle, and you can always just use white paper and add a little color with some markers. If you don't have colored paper, that is totally fine. And this is going to be going right down the middle, but I want to leave room for my tulips right here. So I'm just kind of going to say, okay, I can probably cut this a little bit down. And that looks good to me, so I'm going to glue this down. And now I'm ready to glue down my tulip. So I'm going to be needing to put glue on the back and the front of my little book that I created to get it down onto my card. So I'm going to start just on one side. So this is my book. And then I'm just going to kind of fan it open so I get that pop up. I love how you can see all the different colors in there. Cool. Okay. Now we are going to add one more piece of glue on, which is a couple of leaves. So I have some green paper. It could just be like a scrap, but I'm just going to be drawing a leaf shape, which is going to be sort of like a football shape or an almond shape. So it's really just a curve and another curve. Okay, so all that's left to do is just write a little message to my mom. So I think I'm going to write, Happy birthday. You know, let her know how much you care about her. She's special. And then maybe in the leaves I'll write, love. And you can even go back and add a little detail, maybe some shading. Oh, that's pretty good. Some different green for the stem and leaves. Optional, but you can do this however you want. You can use whatever colors you want. It is totally up to you. I'll give this a little outline. Okay, so here's what I ended up with. You can add as much detail as you'd like to with whatever materials you have. I used some markers and colored pencils to add some extra little designs around the edges. I'm gonna pop this in an envelope and send it to my mom right now in the mail, actually. Hi, Mom. So be sure to take pictures and let us know what you come up with. I hope you have fun. See you later.